that, and it's beautiful. It has nothing to do with what your relationships are doing at the moment, or what your bank statements are doing at the moment, or whether you have a job or you don't have a job, or whether your wife has just left you, or their husband has done this, or whether you're nothing to do with any of that. You're stepping out into presence. Level 2 of presence is to feel that you're alive inside. You've already noticed that the world around you is alive. Well, that's a big step forward. You have noticed that the world around you is vitally alive. So to notice that, you need to have stepped out of your life situation, your conceptual reality. Wow. Okay, that was, you breathe. It's beautiful, the play of forms. And then you feel that you inside are alive. Your body is alive. You feel the aliveness in your hands, your arms, your legs, and the totality of aliveness, the global aliveness inside in the background. And you can still look around and see the incredible aliveness around you. Now, if you feel the body inside, you're already moving to an even more vital dimension than the vitality of life forms. There's your body. It feels good to be embodied, to sense the aliveness, even in an everyday situation. When things are going, when you're listening to the news and say something dreadful has just happened, there will be negative growth next year in the economy. Negative growth, what does that mean? We are now officially in a recession. Oh my God. We are going to buy less at Christmas this, oh no. We are not going to run around like mad rabbits this Christmas. Oh, that's dreadful. So even when you listen to the news, I'm exaggerating a little, but there's some truth in it. Even when you listen to the news, you can feel the aliveness within, while they're saying we are now officially in a recession. The entire automobile industry of the United States may collapse and drag everybody else down. And you feel the aliveness inside. So there you have something more vital than that. And if you are part of the automobile industry of the United States, and if it affects you directly or indirectly, when the situation arises externally, then you will deal with it. You will address it in the now. And you accept whatever is, and you look at it, okay, what is it that I can do? And then you go into life. And then you go out again and look at your situation. And you go back, find the balance between dealing with your life situation and entering life. So level 2 said the aliveness in the body while you listen to the news, for example, or while the phone rings and somebody says, oh dear, we need to do something. Well, if anybody comes to you and says, oh, we need to do something, you step out of the life situation and become present, where there are no problems. So you can hang on to your inner body, and then an even deeper level of your life situation, because they're all connected, they're ultimately all one. At the deepest level, the one that contains it all is the realization that underneath it all, who you are is not the thoughts that go through your head or whatever is happening externally, but you can actually sense within yourself that you are that in which all the phenomena appear. That's the deepest level of life. Life is the consciousness that you are. The I am. You attach nothing else to I am. The I am at the deepest, who you are in your innermost identity, that is consciousness. It is formless. It is the light in which everything appears. And to feel yourself, even at this moment, to feel that nothing that can be defined is who you are. Nothing that can be thought is who you are. Nothing that happens around you has anything ultimately to do with who you are in your essence. Success or failure ultimately has nothing to do with who you are. Success cannot give you your true reality. Failure, success is not who you are. It's all the play of forms. It's all to do with time. It's your life situation. Stepping out of that into the power and the fullness of the present moment, where you know yourself as consciousness itself. Another word you could use as a pointer is to realize the stillness within yourself. Consciousness is still, alive, vibrant, but still. Underneath all the things that are happening externally and internally in your mind and your emotional field, you remain as that. And that can be in any situation when you are the master, the spiritual master, knows him or herself as consciousness in any external situation. You can actually sense a spaciousness inside you, no matter what's happening, and even while you're thinking, or you're going to think much less, because there's no reason to think totally unnecessary things all the time. To sense always in the background the I am, the stillness. That which is precious, something very precious, indestructible. And sometimes you may need to encounter a life-threatening challenge that suddenly comes in to sense that. But whenever a form in your life begins to dissolve or collapse, there's a greater chance to discover within yourself that which is beyond form. So let's say the entire stock market collapses, and then you get your statement and it says zero. That moment of looking at your balance, and you say your mutual funds have gone from $500,000 to $5. This form that was important to you has dissolved, and you look at that, and instead of resisting, because this is what is, ultimately it's only a figure on a piece of paper. Only when you start thinking does it become a big problem. But the reality of it is, you're opening this thing, you're taking it out of the envelope, and you're reading, and there's little scribbles, computer printout, which has a little figure on it. And that's all that it is in the reality of the present moment. Unless you make a problem out of it and start thinking, what's going to happen to me in the future? How am I going to survive in my old age? I've worked for nothing, 30 years of work for nothing. What does all that mean? It means it's a story around the simplicity of a figure on a piece of paper. And then once you are trapped in that, you're lost. So to see very clearly, this is you're becoming a master when you just see the simplicity of any moment without going into spinning stories around me, my past, my future. It was all in vain. Yeah, I failed. It's all been pointless. I'm never going to make money again. All mind stories, mind-created stories. So, the solution to your financial or other problems is stepping out as much as you can into the aliveness of the present moment, which is who you are in your essence. You are the now, in which everything happens, the consciousness in which everything unfolds, the timeless space. And then look at the situation. So you're coming from you're rooted in a deeper place, and then you're dealing with the externals. But always be very careful, because the externals have a pulling power, and you're living in a world that's totally hypnotized by the externals, and in a world that continuously tells you how important the external is. And every time you listen to somebody say, this is so important, you should be worried, you should be in fear, you should think about this, let's discuss it. And the world has this pulling power. So you need to realize everybody is hypnotized into believing that this is all that there is. And this is absolutely serious and important. It is important, perhaps, but it is only relatively important. It is not of absolute importance. Of absolute importance is finding the essence of who you are, and then deal with things from there, so that a different energy flows even into what you do, so the two are not separate. Even your so-called life situation changes is affected by the power of life itself when you are aware of that in yourself. So a different level of consciousness flows into what you do. A different energy flows into what you do. When you realize that whatever you do is at best only relatively important. Whatever happens is relative. The only one thing is absolute, and that is finding life, or as Jesus calls it, the fullness of life, which has nothing to do with your life situation. And the strange thing is, the life situation tends to unfold with greater ease when you are connected with something, that dimension that is deeper than life situations. And then even on the external level of your life situation, things happen more lightly, more easily. And that's the beauty of it. And this is the practice then. And no better opportunity than the present time, when you're being challenged, rather than being deluded for a few more years that all is well, when it isn't, because eventually things are going to dissolve around you anyway, and if they don't dissolve around you, then you dissolve before they do. So it's better to see that fact now than wait until you're 92 years old. You may not be that alert anymore to find the reality of who you are and the reality underneath phenomena. So here's the mastery of life, is to live in two dimensions simultaneously. And then